Good evening, one and all. Let us start the session. So in the previous session, we have solved some Z transforms of basic elementary signals, and cos and sine signals we have not solved. Out of all basic elementary signals, sine and cos signals we have not done. And one more important signal: if x of n is equal to a to the power of mod n, very important signal. Find the Z transform and ROC of this signal, and then we can find the Z transform of sine and cos signals also. So find Z transform and ROC of this signal. Z transform of any signal, x of z, standard definition, that is n is minus infinity to plus infinity, x of n multiplied by z raised to minus n. Let us find the Z transform of this signal. N value minus infinity to plus infinity, a to the power of mod n z raised to minus n. What is mod n? We know it is plus n when n value you are taking right side. It is minus n when n value you are taking left side. So I am dividing this expansion in two parts. For negative values, one part, so that a value a to the power of mod n value is minus n z raised to minus n plus, and n value 0 to infinity. So mod n value is plus n z raised to minus n. So I will just invert this series so that I can write n value 1 to infinity, so that every n should be replaced with minus n. So that it is a z whole to the power of plus n. And second term it is n value 0 to infinity. It is as usual a z inverse whole to the power of n. Here to make this sum of the series into the form of first term, to make this into sum of the series, 1 plus x square and so on up to infinity is equal to 1 by 1 minus x, provided x less than 1. To write in terms of the sum of series, here n should start from 0, so that you can add plus 1 and minus 1 for the first term. So that n is equal to 0 to infinity, here plus 1 minus 1 if you take. So this one go to the summation and minus 1 remaining, so that it is a z whole to the power of n minus 1. Next term it is n value 0 to infinity, a z inverse whole to the power of n. This one we can write in terms of sum of the series 1 plus x square and so on. So that it is 1 divided by 1 minus a z minus 1 plus 1 divided by 1 minus a z inverse, provided x value less than 1. Here this is x for this sum of the series, this is x for this sum of the series. So that here for first term ROC is mod z greater than az. Sorry, this is x value less than 1, so that less than 1, az value should be less than 1, and this one x less than 1 second ROC, a z inverse less than 1. So that what is R1 means mod z less than 1 by a. Here R2 is mod z greater than a. So mod z is greater than a and less than 1 by a. So what is final ROC means R1 intersection R2, that is a less than mod z less than 1 by a. So what is ROC means a less than mod z less than 1 by a. This is the final ROC. and this is x of z, z transform of the signal. This one you can simplify. It's not a big issue for us. But one thing to be observed here, what is the range of values of A? A value range not given. See here. If A greater than 1, what happened to the ROC? Observe if A greater than 1. Let us take A is equal to 2. Then ROC should be 2 less than mod z less than 1 by 2. Is it possible? 2 less than mod z less than 1 by 2. So 1 by 2 cannot be greater than 2. So this is not possible. So there is no ROC for the case where A value greater than 1. Where if you take A less than 1, let us take A value some 1 by 3. Then ROC is A less than mod z less than 1 by A is 3. So ROC, the radius 1 by 3 with the radius 3 is bounded between two circuits. The angular region bounded between two circuits like this. So here for this problem, A should be strictly less than 1. Should be the note point here. A value is less than 1. Fine. Now let us see the Z transform of sine and cos signals. I think all of you noted them. So this is x of n. If it is cos omega n u of n, find the Z transform and ROC for this signal. So let us take the direct formula x of z, or directly we can apply this one. A power n u of n, we know that z upon z minus a in the previous session we have discussed. Then e to the power of j omega, if you take as a, then e to the power of j omega whole power n u of n. Z transform is z upon z minus e to the power of j omega. Similarly, e to the power of minus j omega n u of n, Z transform z upon z minus e to the power of minus j. Now we can convert this cos function in terms of two sinusoidal functions. Is 1 by 2 e to the power of j omega n plus 1 by 2 e to the power of minus j omega n multiplied by u of n. Fine. Apply Z transform both sides. This one x of n still converted x of n. So x of n is the signal. Find Z transform. So that applying Z transform both sides, you get x of z 1 by 2. This one Z transform with the first equation z upon z minus e to the power of j omega, and 1 by 2, let us take it common, plus z upon z minus e to the power of minus j omega. So further simplification, let us take z also outside, z by 2, and cross multiplications, z minus e to the power of minus j omega plus z minus e to the power of plus j omega divided by z minus e to the power of j omega plus into z minus e to the power of minus j omega. This one, there is no cancellations. Z by 2, here z, 2 z's minus. Now e power j omega plus e power j omega, if I take it minus common. So that can be written as 2 cos omega divided by this one. Let us multiply inside. Z square minus Z e to the power of minus j omega. Next minus Z e to the power of plus j omega. Minus minus plus e power j omega into e power minus j omega. These are in denominator. So this one will be j omega minus j omega 0. E power 0 is 1. And here I take minus z common, so that I will get e power j omega plus e power minus j omega. So that this could be written as 2 cos omega. Then what is x of z we are getting this? Here these two cancels. It means z multiplied by z minus cos omega in the numerator. In the denominator, z square first term, and these two terms we have multiplied, we have simplified to 2 cos omega. It means minus z 2 cos omega or minus 2z cos omega. Plus 1. So this is the z transform of cos omega and u of n. What is the ROC? Here for this function ROC is mod z greater than a. If z is e to the power of j omega, that is e to the power of j omega, then mod z is 1, right? That means, observe here, a value e to the power of j omega. We should write mod z greater than a. That means we should write mod z greater than e to the power of j omega. So here mod z we are taking, that's why instead of writing e to the power of j omega, magnitude of this complex quantity 1 we are taking. So mod z greater than 1, you can write the ROC of this function. It gives the same meaning. Mod z greater than 1 say gives the same meaning as if it is a value e to the power of j omega, don't write mod z greater than e to the power of j omega or minus j omega. So instead of writing this complex quantity amplitude or magnitude is 1. That 1 only we use for ROC representation. Right. So ROC for this is simply mod z greater than 1. For cos function, we are getting ROC mod z greater than 1. So we have ROC mod z greater than 1. Similarly, we can solve for sin omega in u of. I think all of you noted. Right. If x of n sin omega n u of n, find z transform and ROC. These two z transform pairs we must remember better. Cos, sin, and u of n, step functions. So standard functions, z transforms, what I have derived so far, better you remember, because in the exercise problems directly we can use these z transform pairs. Z transform and ROC, let us see here. Here x of z we need. So first we can write this one as 1 by 2j e to the power of j omega n u of n minus 1 by 2j e to the power of minus j omega n u of n. Sin function we are converting into complex exponential functions. Because already we know that e to the power of j omega n u of n z transform z upon z minus e to the power of j omega e power minus j omega n u of n z transform z upon z minus e to the power of minus j omega. So that these two Z transforms we know. So x of z will be 1 by 2j. Just write this one here. This one z upon z minus e to the power of plus j omega minus z upon z minus e to the power of minus j omega. So z we can take it outside. Z by 2j cross multiply z minus e to the power of minus j omega minus z plus e to the power of j omega divided by z minus e to the power of j omega multiplied by z minus e to the power of minus j omega. So we can further simplify this one, but here cancellations are there. Z we can cancel. And if you observe e power j omega minus e power minus j omega divided by 2j, you can write this total as sin omega. The three terms we can combine into sin omega. And denominator it will be same as the cos function, right? That is z square minus 2z cos omega plus 1. And the same ROC, because only minus added for one exponential and 1 by j will be added. So you can observe if x of n ROC is r minus some k into x of n ROC also r. Observe here same ROC for signal and its amplitude scaled version. Not time scaling, amplitude scale. If it is x of minus n, it is different ROC. So here ROC is mod z greater than 1. I think all of you noted. Time scaling, amplitude scaled versions. What is the effect on ROC? That's what the note point. Right. So far we have derived Z transforms and ROC of some standard elementary signals. This must be remembered. Now let us see some properties of Z transform. So combiningly, we can solve all exercise problems based on these properties and space. Now let us see Z transform properties. Properties of Z transform. See first linearity property. If x1 of n Z transform, x1 of Z, and x2 of n Z transform, x2 of Z, throughout the properties, if x of n Z transform, x of Z. Then the properties goes like this. If you want Z transform of a x1 of n plus b x2 of n, it will be a x1 of Z plus b x2 of Z. Second property. Time shifting property. It says that if it is x of n minus m, or if it is x of n plus m, the Z transform x of Z multiplied by Z upon minus m. Here it is x of Z multiplied by Z upon plus m. Here minus means here minus, here plus means there plus. Similarly, it is multiplying with some sequence, multiplying multiplication of exponential a power m. That means x of n z transform x of z. If you multiply with a power n in time domain, z domain is x of z replaced by x of z by a. Every z replaced with z by a. You get z transform of a power n x of. And time reversal property, x of minus n z transform should be capital X of z inverse. Similarly, time expansion property, x of n divided by some k is x of z to the power of k. Now observe, if you take k is equal to minus 1, it will become time reversal property. So time reversal is a special case of time expansion property. So some student asked me once, what about time compression? K value, if it is less than 1, obviously compression. Is less than 1 is time compression. So same property, time expansion or compression, we can say. K value greater than 1 means it is expansion. K value less than 1 means it is compression. The property statement does not change. Fine. I'm going to the next page. All of you noted down. Sixth property, conjugation property. Z transform of x complex conjugate of n should be capital X complex conjugate of Z complex conjugate. If x of n is a complex function. You rarely get this property. It's convolution property. Time convolution resulting into multiplication in Z domain. Eighth property, differentiation in Z domain. Differentiation in Z domain. Here, if x of n is multiplied with some n, then the Z transform will be minus Z into d by dz of x of z. Differentiation and minus z is multiplied. In time domain, just n multiplied. So differentiation is there in Z domain. Next, initial value theorem. Initial value theorem. Initial value theorem and final value theorem, most important for us. Those are not existing in Fourier transforms. Already we discussed Fourier transforms. These two properties doesn't exist in Fourier transforms. And here one thing is, these two properties are applied for right-sided signals, only for right-sided signals. Read like this. Only for x of n right-sided signals. If x of n right-sided, first value or initial value is x of 0. Final value is x of infinity. So if we are unable to calculate this value in time domain, we can go to the z domain, provided the function z transform if we know. So by using this formula, x of 0 is limit z tending to infinity, it is x of z. Right? Z tending to infinity, x of z. Whereas final value theorem, x of infinity is limit z tending to 1, z into z minus 1 into x of z. If you observe Laplace transforms, we will get both the initial final value theorems there with Laplace transform also, but the statements are a little bit different. For both functions, s into x of s you will get there. But here, no z into x of z in both. Here, lack of z. Here, instead of z, z minus 1. Right. Anyways, here one thing is, we need to check condition before applying these two points, these two theorems. First is, signal should be right-sided first. Then only you can apply initial and final value theorems. For left-sided signals, both sided signals, these two theorems are not valid. Next step. Condition. Here for initial value theorem, what is the condition? Is x of z generally, here some polynomial of order n. Here polynomial of order m will get the rational function of two polynomials generally. So the order of the numerator polynomial should not be greater than the order of the denominator polynomial. N should not be greater than m, or n can be less than or equal to m. Means what? In numerators we get zeros. In denominators we get poles. So zeros cannot be more than poles to apply initial value theorem. Whereas for final value theorem, what happens means all poles of the function must lie within the unit circle in Z plane. In Z plane, all poles should lie within the unit circle. This is mod Z is equal to 1 unit circle. All poles of x of z should be within the unit circle. Or you can take z minus 1 x of z expression. You take all poles of this expression z minus 1 x of z should lie within this unit circle in the z plane. If one pole on the unit circle, what happens? You'll get like this. X of z, if it is some function divided by z minus 1, you'll get if it is a pole on the unit circle, not outside. Then this expression, what happens? Z minus 1 into x of z, so that this cancels. So, different case. Anyway, all poles, we just verify that whether those are within the unit circle or not before applying the final value theorem. It's very sensitive case, final value theorem. Just I will tell you one point here. I think all of you noted down this one. Let us see one point here. So final value theorem statement, remember. Going to the next page. a signal x of n is equal to 2 to the power of n u of n. Final value theorem says that x of infinity should be limited z tending to 1, z minus 1, x of z. And the z transform of this function x of z is z upon z minus 2. Then final value of this function, if you take z tending to 1, z minus 1, x of z is z upon z minus 2. If you substitute z tending to 1 here, 1 minus 1, 0. 0 into anything, 0. You will get 0. What is final value? By using final value theorem. But observe this function, time domain function, it is 2 to the power of n u of n. What is this? X of n. So it is exponentially rising function. For n value 0, it is 1. For n value 1, it is 2. For n value 2, it is 2 square, 4, 2 cube, 8. So as n tending to infinity is going to infinity. So x of infinity value will be infinity here in time domain. But if we use final value theorem, we got the final value 0. So infinity 0, both are different. Why final value theorem not giving correct answer is because here what is the pole for this function? Pole lies in the z plane at 2. So it is outside of the unit circle. So if a pole is outside of the unit circle, you should not apply final value theorem. If you apply final value theorem by mistake, you will get an answer without any disturbance, and that answer also will be in the question paper options. Definitely they will give one option out of ABCD. That option what you get with the final value. Fine. So that's why remember this point carefully. Before applying final value theorem, check whether all poles are within the unit circle or not. For Laplace transform, initial value theorem won't give much disturbance, but for Z transform, initial value theorem also giving some disturbance. I will show you while we are solving some previous problems. We'll check once. Initial value theorem also troubles us in Z transform, especially. Fine. Now let us see some exercise problems by using these properties and Z transform pairs. So far, what we are discussing. First, find the Z transform of this signal. Find the Z transform of x of n, that is given as 1 by n minus 2 whole to the power of minus n. U of minus n minus 1. Find the Z transform. Use the properties of Z transform page, whatever you want. Use it. Try to solve this one. Just I'm giving you 1 minute. Then I'll solve. Right. Just to verify your answer, someone. Here we have function x of n given like this 1 by n minus 2 whole to the power of minus n, u of minus n minus 1. First, what will you do? N take this side. Then I will get minus 2 whole to the power of minus n. U of minus n minus 1. Further, what we can do? A power n minus u of minus n minus 1, we have the transform. Z upon Z minus a. Here we need a value to the power of n. So here minus n is there. So I can write this one as minus 1 by 2 whole to the power of plus n u of minus n minus 1. Then I will apply Z transform both sides. And Z transform property, we have that differentiation in Z domain. What is this? N into x of n Z transform. That is minus z into d by dz of x of z. That is, this is, what is the Z transform of this function by using this pair? A value minus 1 by 2 in this case. And of course, this minus is not there, thus we can take minus that side. So minus z upon z by z minus a value is minus 1 by 2. Is it? Or this minus, we can take it. Cancel. Z upon z plus 1 by 2 is there. What is this function? And z also we can cancel out this. Numerator. We got d by dz of x of z as 1 upon z plus 1 by 2. Observe, if x of z is equal to log of z plus 1 by 2. This log of z plus 1 by 2. By derivate, what I will get? 1 by z plus 1 by 2. That means here, what is x of z? Log of z plus 1 by 2. So the Z transform of x of n, if it is x of z, the x of z expression would get this. This is the answer. One more problem. Next one. Find the Z transform and ROC of the signal x of n given as 5 by 6 whole to the power of n u of minus n minus 1 plus 3 into 1 by 2 whole to the power of 2n u of n. What is the Z transform and ROC of this signal? Z transform pairs we know. U of n, a power n u of n is z upon z minus a with mod z greater than a. Minus a to the power of n, u of minus n minus 1 is z by z minus a, same Z transform, but ROC mod z less than a. So directly can use those formulas. What is x of z here? Since minus is not here, we can take minus z upon z by z minus 5 by 6. With ROC, first ROC is, since it is left side signal, less than symbol must. What is pole value? 5 by 6. Next, second one. Here this is nothing but 1 by 4 whole to the power of n into q of n. And this one Z transform by using this one 3 into z by z minus 1 by 4. ROC, second ROC it is mod z. And the signal is right side signal, so greater than symbol, whole value 1 by 4. So mod z greater than 1 by 4 and it is less than 5 by 6. So what is combined ROC? R1 is less than 5 by 6. Let's take 5/6 here and 1/4 here. Is margin greater than 1/4 1 ROC, like this, and margin less than 5/6 1 ROC. Like this. Where is the intersection region is 1/4 to 5/6. So that 1/4 less than mod z less than 5/6 is ROC of given signal x of n. So both sided signal, one left sided signal, one right sided signal, combinedly a both sided signal. The ROC property for a both sided signal is bounded between two circles. Fine. One more question. If x of n is 5/7 whole to the power of n, u of n minus u of n minus 9. Then find the Z transformed ROC. Find the Z transformed ROC. Just 1 minute, I'll give you, try it. Second one, u of n minus 9. General formula for x of z is n value minus into plus infinity x of n multiplied by z raised to minus. Here u of n minus u of n minus 9. It is u of n like this. U of n minus 9 will be starting from 9. Assume that with 0 to 9. So that the signal, which is subtract this one, u of n minus u of n minus 9 will be from 0 onwards to 8, the signal will be equal to 1. Remaining all 0. Then this limit we can modify n value 0 to 8. This function will be 1. Within that limit 0 to 8, function will be 1. The remaining function 5/7 whole to the power of n z raised to minus. Further, we can write it as n is 0 to 8. This is 5 z inverse by 7 whole to the power of n. And the sum of the series, if we take n value 0 to some n minus 1, x of n, we can write it as 1 minus x to the power of n divided by 1 minus x. Provided x value not equal to 1. Of course, if x value equal to 1, that is n. X value equal to 1, 1 multiplied by 0 to n minus 1 times. That means n. So let us apply the sum of the series here. This one, we are applying the sum of the series. Here x value, this one, is not equal to 1. So we can apply this upper expression, that is 1 minus 5 by 7 z inverse whole to the power of, here n minus 1 means here n. So here 8 it is, so we have to take 9 divided by 1 minus x. So further we can write it as, this is 1 by z to the power of 9. So we take z to the power of 9 this side, z to the power of 9 minus 5 by 7 whole to the power of 9 divided by z minus 5 by 7, and here 1 by z to the power of 9 is there. For this signal 1 by z will be there. So that z we can write numerator. So that finally what I get, the x of z is 1 by z to the power of 8 and z to the power of 9 minus 5 by 7 whole to the power of 9 divided by z minus 5 by 7. So where are the poles now? Determine ROC. Where are the poles? Here 8th order pole at origin. This is 8th order poles at origin. And one more pole at 5 by 7. And where can you take the ROC? Which kind of signal it is? Right-sided signal. For every right-side signal, we should get mod z greater than signal. Now two poles are there, two positions of poles. So outside of the outermost pole, we have to take mod z greater than 5 by 7 issue. That is the ROC of this. The ROC of this signal is mod z greater than 5 by 7. Next. Now keep the property statements with you. Let us practice property statements with the help of this problem. I'll give you 5 or 6 options with the same expression. I think all of you noted this. Right. For this question, this is if x of n, z transform x of z, that is given as z square by z square minus 16 and mod z less than 4. Then find z transform of, first x of n plus 5, second 1 by 2 to the power of n x of n, third x of minus n convolution with x of n, fourth n into x of n, x of n plus 1 plus x of n minus 1, sixth x of n convolution with x of n minus 3. Find all z transforms of these. All are properties. Use the property statements, you can get it easily. Just substitute in the x of z expression. No need to simplify because there are no options. Direct. First question. X of n plus 5. The transform is time shifting property. So x of z multiplied by z raised to 5. X of z given z square by z square minus 16 into z to the power of 5. Next, 1 by 2 to the power of n, a x of n. That means 1 by 2 whole to the power of n, x of n. So a power n, x of n, we know that x of z by a. X of z by a. What is a here? 1 by 2. That means this is nothing but x of 2z. That means 2z whole square divided by 2z whole square minus 16. Z square by z square minus 2. Third one. X of minus n convolution with x of plus n. Time reversal property. X of minus n is x of z inverse. Convolution becomes ordinary multiplication. And x of n, z transform, it is again x of z. So you can substitute according to the x of z. Z inverse whole square divided by z inverse whole square minus 16 multiplied by z square divided by z square minus 16. Next, fourth one. N into x of n. Differentiation property, we have minus z d by dz of x of z. Fine. That means minus z d by dz of x of z is what? Z square by z square minus 16. You know, derivative of u by v. Minus z 1 by v square multiplied by v into u dash. Means this is 2z, derivative of z square is 2z minus u v dash. This is z square and v dash it is 2z. You can simplify based on the options. Derivative of u by v 1 by v square v u dash minus u v dash. Apply the formula, directly you can get into the answer. Next it is fifth one. X of n plus 1 plus x of n minus 1. Both are time shifting properties, you can easily get it. This time shifting property. One, x of n plus 1 plus x of n minus 1, z transform, x of z multiplied by z plus x of z multiplied by z inverse. We take x of z common, z plus z inverse. So we can substitute x of z, z square by z square minus 16 multiplied by z plus z inverse. We can simplify further based on the options. Last question. X of n convolution, x of n minus 3. Convolution becomes multiplication of these two. This is x of z, this is x of z multiplied by z raised to minus 3. That means x of z whole square into z raised to minus 3. You can substitute x of z in this expression. And you can simplify based on the options. You know. Similar question by using inverse Z transforms, I'll give one. Similarly, inverse Z transform on question. I think all of you noted down this one. Right. If x of n equal to 3 to the power of n, n square u of n, and is given as x of n Z transform x of z, then find inverse Z transform of first one, x of 2z, second one, x of z inverse, third one, 1/3 z cube minus z to the power of -5 x of z. If x of n is given like this, what is the inverse Z transform of the given functions of z? Right, let us see. You know that x of 2z is here. That means it should be multiplied with which function? Just in the previous problem only we had done. It is 1/2 whole to the power of n. If you multiply to the x of n, what will get? X of z divided by a. A value is 1/2. This is what we have done there. So x of 2z inverse Z transform should be 1/2 to the power of n x of n. Means x of n is given in the question. So inverse Z transform of x of 2z is 1/2 to the power of n into 3 to the power of n into n square u of n. First question. Second question. X of z inverse. Inverse Z transform of x of z inverse. You know the time reversal property x of minus n. So inverse Z transform of x of z inverse is x of minus n is nothing but 3 to the power of minus n square u of minus n. Similarly, third one. Here this is 1/3 x of z cube minus 1/3 x of z multiplied by z raised to -5. We know that multiplying with z expression is a time side shifting. So here 1/3 x of, and time shifting same signature. So n plus 3 minus 1/3 x of n minus 5. So in this case, inverse Z transform is 1/3 x of n plus 3. That means 3 to the power of n plus 3 and n plus 3 whole square u of n plus 3. Next minus 1/3 x of n minus 5. 3 to the power of n minus 5 and n minus 5 whole square u of n minus 5. Now, fourth one is important. Fourth one a little bit better than these three. And right here, what is the inverse Z transform of d by dz of x of z? Fourth one, what is the inverse Z transform of d by dz of x of z? Simple derivative. And what is the corresponding x of n for this function, right? Good one. Think all of you noted? I'll erase this one. Fine. So what is the inverse Z transform of derivative? We know that n into x of n is minus z d by dz of x of z. This is property. But he asked for the inverse Z transform of only this derivative. What can we do? What can we do? This z should not be there. Should not be there means if we can multiply this z with z inverse, then both will become one. So when you will get in z side z inverse means in time side, if it is shifted by 1. So in z domain side, you will get z inverse like this. Fine. Now I am taking this one as y of n and this one as y of z. Then what is y of n minus 1 z transform? Y of z multiplied by z inverse. Then what is y of n minus 1? If y of n is equal to n into x of n, that is n minus 1 x of n minus 1. And what is y of z? We have taken minus z d by dz of x of z multiplied by z inverse. Then these two could cancel. And this minus sign, we can take this side. Fine. So what is inverse z transform of d by dz of x of z means this is the expression minus n minus 1 x of n minus 1 is equal to minus of n minus 1 x of n minus 1. You can take x of n here, difference 3 to the power of n minus 1 whole square u of n minus 1. This is the corresponding inverse Z transform. Next, one more important one. All of you noted? We'll go to the next page. A system is described by the difference equation. A system is described by the difference equation it is given as y of n equal to 2x of n plus 3x of n minus 1 plus 4x of n minus 2 plus 5x of n minus 3 plus 6x of n minus 4. And find the impulse response of this system. Then find the impulse response of this system. For an LTI system with h of n impulse response, x of n input, y of n output. Y of n is equal to input convolution Z transform of first h of n, and Z transform of this expression is y of z is equal to x of z h of z. So we have y of n and x of n equation. We need to find h of n. So if we go to z domain, then h of z is equal to what? We get y of z divided by x of z. Here for this equation, if you apply z transform, we will get y of z by x of z easy. So first, to get h of z, let us do z transform of the given equation. It is y of z is equal to 2 into x of z plus here x of n shifting by 1. That means in z domain multiply with z inverse plus 4 x of z z raised to minus 2 plus 5 x of z z raised to minus 3 plus 6 x of z z raised to minus 4. Fine. Now all x of z, if I take it common and take it left hand side, we get y of z upon x of z, which is nothing but h of z. It is given by here 2 plus 3 z inverse plus 4 z raised to minus 2 plus 5 z raised to minus 3 and 6 z raised to minus 4. Fine. So this is h of z. Then what is the impulse response? Apply inverse z transform here. You get h of n. So what is the h of n for this? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All are in increasing order. No issue. This is h of n. Observe the polynomial of z. Here it is nothing but z to the power of 0. Z to the power of minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4. Z negative powers increasing order means sequence right side. I'll tell you. Just I'll give you an example here now. How I have taken this sequence from that expression. Very simple one, this one. The timing note down h of n is equal to this one from the given h of z. From the expression we obtained for h of z, we take h of n like this. Just we do one problem now. Let's find z transform and ROC of a sequence x of n, the right side sequence, x of n, left side sequence, third one x of n, both side sequence. So first case, x of z, it is here n value 0 to 2. X of n into z raised to minus 1. Then x of 0 is 1 into z to the power of 0 plus 1 into z to the power of minus 1 plus 1 into z to the power of minus 2. That's it. 3 terms. So what is the polynomial here? X of z I got here. X of z is 1 plus Z inverse plus Z raised to minus 2. And ROC, from the properties of the ROC, we know that finite time duration sequence, entire S plane, Z plane, entire Z plane is ROC for finite duration sequence. If it is right side, except mod Z is 0. Why except mod Z is equal to 0? Here Z inverse is there. That means 1 by Z. 1 plus 1 by Z plus 1 by Z square is the x of Z here. If Z value is 0, if you take 1 by Z, it will be infinity. X of Z not converging. It's diverging. That's why exception should be there in the right side of finite duration sequence. Fine. In a similar way, what is x of Z for this left sided sequence? Let us see the Z transform of left sided sequence. Second one. Here x of Z limit is here n value 0, n value minus 1, n value minus 2. So it is n value minus 2 to 0, x of n, Z raised to minus n. Then first element at minus 2, n value. This is 1, minus of minus 2, that is 2, Z square. Next, Z. Next, 1 into Z equals 0, 1. What I get? 1 plus Z square. So for the second function, it is Z square plus Z plus 1 is the Z transform. Then here, ROC is again entire Z plane. Exception is what? If Z tending to infinity, x of Z tending to infinity. That's why except mod Z is equal to infinity. For left sided sequence, ROC should be entire Z plane except mod. Now come to the third problem. What is the Z transform? Obviously, the same way. What is the Z transform of third function? Now here observe n value 0, 1, 2, here minus 1, minus 2. Here n value 1, 2, while we are getting Z powers, observe negative increasing powers. Whereas n value negative, n value minus 1, minus 2 here, then Z transform gets positive increasing powers. So obviously this one should be Z square plus Z plus 1 plus Z to the power of minus 1, Z to the power of minus 2. So based on the polynomial, how the sequence can be estimated, you can observe. If negative powers increasing, that is the right side sequence. If positive powers are increasing, that is the left side sequence. Both side signal means both positive and negative power subject we can observe. And of course here ROC for the third function is entire Z plane. Here Z is there, that means Z should not be infinity. So exceptions here, mod Z should not be infinity, and Z inverse is there, that's why mod Z should not be 0 also. Both exceptions. Like that you can get a sequence from the given polynomial in x of Z. Observe this practice mandatory for us to save the time in the examinations. They are giving big expressions in terms of Z polynomials. So you can get it easily sequential form if we know this one once. Fine. One more question. A system has impulse response. I think all of you noted this one. I'm going to the next page. A system has impulse response. As impulse response, h of n is 1 by 4 whole to the power of n u of n. The response of the system for the input x of n is y of n equal to 4 into del of n minus 2. You find the input x of n. Then find the input x of n. This kind of questions is very important. Repeatedly asked questions. And also it is easy to solve these kind of problems. Everybody can solve these problems. Getting up, all of you? I'll do it, verify. So we need to find x of n this time. General formulas, y of n should be equal to x of n convolution h of n. If you want z transform expressions, y of z should be equal to x of z, h of z. Further, we need x of n. That means x of z if you want in z domain, that is y of z divided by h of z. Fine. So that here x of z is, what is the z transform of y of n here? 4 del of n minus 2. Del of n means 1. Del of n z transform 1. Del of n minus k z transform z to the power of minus k. Observe. Inverse z transform of some z to the power of plus k means del of n plus k. Remember this one, important, repeatedly should be used. Fine. Here if you come, y of n z transform, it is 4 into z raised to minus 2. And what is h of z? Z transform of h of n, impulse response. It is a power n u of n form. A power n u of n form. That is nothing but z upon z minus a. So that this is z upon z minus 1 by 4. X of z we can simplify this. 4 z raised to minus 2 into z minus 1 by 4 divided by z. Further, what can we do? If I take z this side, first term 4z raised to minus 2 minus 4 gets cancelled and z raised to minus 3 remains. Is it? 4z raised to minus 2 minus z raised to minus 3. If we have z polynomial, I told you how to take the sequence. Now apply inverse z transform to get x of n input. Here negative powers means right side signal. Fine. So constant is not there. That means origin element 0. Minus 1 is not there. That's why first element also 0. Minus 2 is there. So this coefficient will be this one. And minus 3 is there. So this is coefficient minus 1. Fine. This is x of n sequential form. In case if it needs the options, impulse functions, what also you can do? The option, if it is in terms of impulse function, what is the inverse z transform of this one in terms of impulse function means this is the box. Inverse z transform of z power k is del of n plus k. Here this is 4 del of n minus 2 minus del of n minus 3. Observe where is the sequence this is. Del of n minus 2 means at 2 n value 2 we are having amplitude 4 and at n value 3 we are having amplitude minus 1. This is the function input x of n from this impulse functions. Now observe the sequential form. I'm plotting here. it is 0, first two elements. So at n value 2, we have amplitude 4. And at n value 3, we have amplitude -1. So this is also same signal, right? So in terms of the options, we can derive the required form. Fine. One more question. I'm going to the next page now. Hope all of you noted. The causal LTI system is described by the difference equation y of n is given by x of n plus y of n minus 1. Then find impulse response of the system and stability of the system. Find the stability and the impulse response of the system. Here the given equation is y of n is equal to x of n plus y of n minus 1. We need impulse response. So always better method is going to z domain and come back to time domain. So apply z transform both sides. You get y of z is equal to x of z plus this is z inverse y of z. Let us take y of z common. Then I'll get 1 minus z inverse is equal to x of z. Then take x of z this side. So that y of z by x of z, which is nothing but the transfer function of the system, is this one goes that side, as in the denominator 1 minus z inverse, or in terms of z, z upon z minus 1. We know that u of n z transform is z by z minus 1. A power n u of n already repeatedly we have used in this class like this. If a value 1, we will get this one, u of n z transform, whatever. So what is the inverse z transform of h of z, h of n, impulse response? That is u of n is a unit step function. The impulse response of this LTI system, a causal LTI system, is unit step function. Fine. What about the stability? What about the stability? How can we determine the stability? How can we determine the stability means? First, we have 3 methods actually. I'll tell you 2 methods here. First, by using ROC, we can determine, or by using impulse response absolutely summable. If impulse response absolutely summable, that is stable. Now, what about u of n? N value minus infinity to plus infinity u of n function 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus up to infinity means you get sum is infinity. So the system is not stable. It is unstable system. By using ROC, how will you determine? By using ROC, how can you determine this? What is the ROC of this function? This is u of n, and this is z upon z minus 1. This is the right side signal. So mod z greater than 1. mod z greater than 1. Pole is at 1. Exterior of this circle, unit circle. What is the condition for the stability of an LTI system means ROC should include the unit circle. I think I have not given this in the introduction points. Please note this point. Stability condition in jet transform. Very important, repeatedly asked this. This is stability. Stability of a discrete time LTI system is the system function h of z to take ROC should include unit circle ROC includes the unit circle, then the system will become stable. Then we say given system is stable. ROC includes unit circle. Here z greater than 1, not equal to 1. Or observe greater than 1. Unit circle not included. ROC starts after the unit circle. So ROC not including unit circle in this problem. That's why we can confirm that that is unstable system. And one more method in the first introduction concepts, we have determined the system stability as bounded input, bounded output. X of n value, you give some bounded input here. You give some bounded input. What about y of n? Each time the y of n minus 1 past output is adding continuously. So as n going to infinity, so by adding this term infinite number of times, obviously bounded quantity repeatedly added infinite times means obviously output also bounded. So output will be unbounded. So this is not bounded. So bounded input produces unbounded output because of this adding y of n minus 1. Like that also you can check the stability. So in the three methods I told you how to check the stability. So this is unstable system. Fine. One more question. Stability, causality, both how to determine means in this jet transforms. Let us recall once again. I'm clearing this page. Stability ROC includes unit circle. Causality margin greater than some pole. System is causal system. H of z function, we take ROC which is margin greater than A. That means ROC is exterior of a circle. In jet plane, we can confirm that the system is causal system. Enough. Greater than symbol means causal system. Less than symbol means non-causal system. No confusion. Observe this question. First, if I take functions with ROCs, I'll give 4 options here. The system function h of z is given like this: z cube divided by z minus 1.2 whole cube. The ROC mod z greater than 1.2. And second function z square by z minus 1.2 whole cube with ROC mod z less than 1.2 and next function z to the power of 4 divided by z minus 0.8 whole to the power of 3. ROC mod z less than 0.8. And next one, h of z cube divided by z minus 0.8 whole to the power of 3. ROC is mod z greater than 0.8. Stability and causality for these systems. Check the stability and causality for these systems. System function with ROC given. Both conditions I have written there itself. First, let us decide. P. What happens here? First, is it stable or unstable? So mod z greater than 1.2. If it is unit circle, pole is at 1.2. Greater than pole. So unit circle not included. Means it is unstable. ROC greater than symbol is there. We don't need to think any other parameters. This causal system. Next, Q. Stable or unstable? Less than 1.2. Less than 1.2 means it is interior of the circle. Unit circle includes. So that it is stable. And less than symbol means non-causal. Next. This is mod z less than 0.8. Here unit circle 1 means 0.8. Here less than 0.8 cannot include the unit circle. So unstable. And less than symbol non-causal. Next, last one. Is 0.8, this is 1. Greater than 0. Should include unit circle. So stable system. Greater than symbol, that's why causal system. You determine stability and causality based on the H of Z and ROC. Simple ROC enough. No other extra parameters needed for us. Only ROC expression we can determine easily stability and causality. Fine. Next. Let us see some problems based on initial and final values. Based on initial and final value theorems. Let us see some exercise problems. I hope all of you noted this one. Important model. Repeatedly ask the questions. Easy to get the marks here. Next. Find x of infinity for the following functions if final value theorem is applicable. First, x of z, it is z plus 1 divided by z minus 0.6 whole square. Second one, x of z, z plus 2 divided by 4 into z minus 1, z plus 0.7. Next, third one, x of z, 2z plus 3, z plus 1, z plus 3, z minus 1. Now observe final value theorem. If it is applicable, let us find x of infinity. What is the condition for final value theorem? I told all poles should be within the unit circle. For which, for z minus 1 x of z expression, if we consider all poles should be within the unit circle, then you can apply the final value theorem. Now, where is the pole for this? Within the unit circle. 0.6 means less than unit circle. So here, final value theorem can be applicable. Next, x of z, z minus 1, z plus 0.7. So z minus 1 x of z, if you take z minus 1 cancels, and pole is at 0.7. So within the unit circle. So second also you can find x of infinity by using final value theorem. Third one, what happens? Here pole is z minus 1 cancels, but z plus 1, z plus 3. Unit circle, if it is z plus 1, here one pole, and outside of the unit circle one pole. So here not applicable. Then if it is not applicable final value theorem, is it mean that x of infinity cannot be determined for that? Means no. You can determine x of infinity for this also. How means by applying inverse Z transform, get the expression for x of n value, take it as infinity, we'll get x of infinity. So this one, by using partial fractions method, we can find inverse Z transform, not a big task. In the coming exercise problems, I will show you how to find the inverse Z transform. For the time being, just here decide that not applicable for third. No, don't calculate here x of infinity. Fine. First two values, let us calculate what is x of infinity. So first one, x of infinity, it is limit z tends to 1, z minus 1 x of z. So that limit z tending to 1, z is x of z, z plus 1 divided by z minus 0.6 whole square. Fine. So z, if you substitute 1 minus 1 here, 0 into anything 0. So x of infinity for the first function is 0. Second function, final value theorem can be applicable. So x of infinity is limit z tending to 1, z minus 1, x of z is z plus 2 divided by 4 into z minus 1, z plus 0.7. So this z minus 1, this z minus 1 cancels. Fine. Then what's remaining? If we substitute z tending to 1, 1 plus 2 divided by 4 into 1 plus 0.7. You can simplify this one. You get some value. That is x of infinity. Third one you don't calculate here, but after finding the partial fraction methods, you can easily find how to find the x of infinity for this also. Third one. Next. This is an initial value theorem. I'll give one. Find x of 0 using initial value theorem. If x of z is given as z square plus 2z plus 2 divided by z plus 1, z plus 0.5. Second, if x of z is z plus 3 divided by z plus 1, z plus 2. What is x of 0 for these two functions? First one, let us see. Limit x of 0 is limit z tending to infinity x of z single. Nothing but x of 0. So for this, if limit z tending to infinity, z inverse should be tending to 0. Fine. So this is z square plus 2z plus 2 divided by, if I take z common from the denominator, both terms, you can write this one like this, 1 plus z inverse 1 plus 0.5 z inverse. Is it? Now this z inverse, if I take into the numerator, limit z inverse tending to 0, this numerator can be written as 1 plus 2z inverse plus 2z raised to minus 2 divided by 1 plus z inverse 1 plus 0.5 z inverse. Now substitute the z inverse 0. So this term 0, this term 0, this term 0, this term 0. What's remaining? 1 divided by 1 into 1. 1 is the initial value for this first function. X of 0 is 1. Similarly, you do it second one. X of 0 is limit z tending to infinity or z inverse tending to 0. Here if I take z common, 1 plus 3 z inverse. Here if we take it common, z into 1 plus z inverse 1 plus 2 z inverse. This z if I write here, this is z inverse. Then z inverse is tending to 0 means here this will be 0. Of course, these are 0, no infinities. Even infinity is there. 0 into infinity, 0 only. Infinity also cannot affect 0. So that finally 0 will get. Fine. Now let us see partial fraction method how to do. Inverse Z transforms by using partial fractions. Very important. I think all of you noted this one. Let us see how to do partial fractions. Find inverse Z transform of x of z. Which is given as 3 plus 2 z inverse plus z raised to minus 2 divided by 1 minus 3 z inverse plus 2 z raised to minus 2. What is the inverse Z transform? This one we have to find. First let us see partial fraction method. Later I will give you power series expansion method also. So to get into partial fraction method, first convert into Z. This function convert into Z. So second order, so multiply with Z square, both the numerator and denominator. You will get this one 3z square plus 2z plus 1 divided by z square minus 3z plus 2. Further, what we can take means here x of z is 3z square plus 2z plus 1 is divided by this one. We can write it as z plus 3. Here plus 2 is there, minus 2 into minus 1 plus 2. So we can write z minus 1, z minus 2. Denominator we can write it as z minus 1 multiplied by z minus 2. Right. And if you observe, you often z transform z upon z minus 1. Right. or a power n u of n z transform z upon z minus 1. So for every z transform, we are getting here in the numerator z. That's why for this kind of functions, what we will do means, before finding inverse z transform, just take divided by z both sides. Then after finding the partial fraction of right hand side expression, you will take this left hand side denominator z into the right side, so that you will get z by z minus 1 or z by z minus 2, something. Don't forget this one, unlike Laplace transform. Fine. Now this one can be written as a by z plus b by z minus 1 plus c by z minus 2. Now ABC values, how can we calculate this? This residues a is equal to limit z tending to 0 z into x of z. B value, how can we find this? Limit z tending to the whole value into z minus 1 fraction multiplied by x of z. C value we can take limit z tending to 2 z minus 2 x of z. Substitute z into x of z. Here this is what is x of z means, this is x of z. X of z expression does not change. This is x of z. So limit z tending to 0 z into what is x of z? 3z square plus 2z plus 1 divided by, this is z minus z square minus, or we can write this one as z minus 1 z minus 2. So this function we are taking, so that by z we have this total function equal to, we are converting into fractions, means x of z by z should be written this function. So better we write some, this one is equal to some x1 of z, so that you won't confuse this one x1 of z, x1 of z, x1 of z. That is better. Then z gets cancelled. Z tending to 0 means here 0, here 0, 0 means 1 divided by minus 1 minus 2, or 1 divided by 2. Similarly, limit z tending to 1 z minus 1, this is 3z square plus 2z plus 1 divided by z into z minus 1 into z minus 2. Z minus 1 cancels. So if you substitute z value 1, it is 3 plus 2 plus 1 divided by 1 into minus 1, minus 1. So we'll get minus 6. Z tending to 2, z minus 2, 3z square plus 2z plus 1 divided by z upon z into z minus 1, z minus 2, so that z minus 2 cancel this time. Substituting 2 here, 3 into 4 plus 2 into 2 plus 1 divided by 2 into 2 minus 1, 1. How much it is? 1 plus 4, 5 plus 12, 17 divided by 2. C value 17 by 2. Substitute these values into the given expression. So A value 1 by 2. B value minus 6. A value 1 by 2. B value minus 6. C value 17 by 2. I'm erasing this expression comma. Let us substitute and find the inverse Z transform. So x of z by z, what I get means 1 by 2 into 1 by z, b value minus 6. So minus 6 into 1 by z minus 1 plus 17 by 2 is 1 by z minus 2. Now this z we have to take right hand side. Then what is x of z? This is 1 by 2, z cancels, minus 6 z upon z minus 1 plus 17 by 2 z upon z minus 2. Now apply the inverse Z transform. Individual terms we have. You can find the inverse Z transform easily. Inverse Z transform is x of n. Constant inverse Z transform is delta function multiplied by that constant. 1 by 2 del of n minus 6. This is u of n plus 17 by 2. This is 2 to the power of n u of n. Like that you can get inverse Z transform for the given function x of z. Now observe this x of n in sequential form. If you take n value 0, what I will get? If you take n value 0, x of 0 value I will get 1 by 2 delta of n at n value 0 it is 1. And u of n function also 1. So minus 6 and u of n 1 and this also 1, 17 by 2. That means 18 by 2, 9, 9 minus 6, 3. I'll get 3 value first here. Like that, if you substitute n values, you will get sequential form. Now, sometimes if you need the sequential form of x of n for that kind of x of z, instead of partial fraction, we can use power series expansion method. We can use power series expansion method if you want sequential form like this. Directly you will get sequential form in power series expansion method. Very helpful. Based on the question, this is very helpful. I think that the time is 9:30. Why not? I'll discuss in the next session this one. Power series expansion method. For the same problem, I will discuss so that you can compare this sequential form with that one. That's why I calculated one element for verification. Okay. Anyway, let us continue the session. The Z transform I will complete there and I will start the discrete versions. Discrete Fourier transforms I will start in the next session itself. Because Z transform is for discrete time signals. So for discrete time signals again, Fourier transform, these are related. So that if I complete those, EC student syllabus will be completed. Then Laplace transform I will complete for the triple students after that. Because for EC students, Laplace transform is not there in signals and system syllabus. Earlier it was there, but now not now. Right. So mostly next week you can complete the syllabus for EC students. After that week you can complete for triple students also. Right. Good night all of you. I'll close the session here.